Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how certain trends within the car market are showing huge weaknesses within the overall economy. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. So the first trend that shows a weakness in the overall economy is the fact that more and more individuals are flocking towards affordable cars. Now, the price ranges I'm about to give obviously are going to fluctuate as time goes on, but right now, if a brand new car is under $30,000, it's considered affordable. If a pre-owned car is under, $20,000, $15,000, then again, it fits within that affordable category. Now, in a normal car market, what you'll typically see is that, yes, there will be, a fairly large sized group of individuals that'll purchase these affordable cars, but it's not the bulk of the car market. The bulk of the car market happens in the middle, right? That's just how markets operate. And so with where car pricing is today, if the market was healthy and if everything was normal, then you'd see that most individuals would be focusing on buying cars between that $40,000 to $80,000 price range. But that's not what's happening. What we're seeing with brand new cars is that cars that are $40,000 to $80,000 are not selling. And what is instead selling is the cars that are under that price range, especially under the $30,000 price range. And if you look at the day's supply of these affordable cars, it keeps getting tighter and tighter. And some automakers are choosing to produce more of the cars in this price range. And again, they are selling out fast, and the automakers are realizing like that is where the demand is right now. And the reason why there's so much demand is, well, again, the demographic that will typically purchase these cars is still purchasing them because that's all they can afford. And then the demographic that'll typically purchase cars that are above this price category, they're now, diving into that price category because, again, at this point, that's all that those individuals can afford as well with everything that's happening in the economy. And so this flocking towards affordable cars in the new car market and the used car market shows that things aren't all that great. Again, if everything was going, how it should, then the cars between the $40,000 to $80,000 price range would be flying off the shelf, and that's not what's happening. Again, any brand that's selling cars in that price range is seeing that they're just not selling, and the only way that they can sell those cars is if they release heavy discounts on them. And that's the next thing that I want to dive into is the fact that we are seeing really big discounts on vehicles, again, especially in that $40,000 to $80,000 price range. Now, obviously, prior to the pandemic, we saw big discounts on cars, but what you have to remember is prior to the pandemic, the car market looks significantly different than it does today. With new cars, there was a day supply number of well over 100 days. So it would take over 100 days for all of the new cars to sell out back then. And then on top of that, there was a large day supply of used cars as well. And so you had a market where availability was really, really big. And so it made sense as to why there was such big discounts. Whereas today, we have a situation where the new car market still doesn't really have a day supply number of over 60 days, and the used car market is like 40-something days. So both markets are constrained when it comes to overall supply. And then if you look at just the overall manufacturing numbers, prior to the pandemic, automakers were able to produce over 17 million cars per year, whereas now we're going to be in like the maybe 15 million unit range in terms of production. Again, it's too soon to exactly tell how this year is going to, progress. But the point that I'm trying to make here is we shouldn't be seeing big discounts. Again, production is going to be like 2 million plus units short, and our day supply is significantly smaller than prior to the pandemic. But again, we're starting to see really big discounts. And the reason why we're starting to see really big discounts is because the demand is dying. And this leads right into the next event that is currently happening that I think is probably the most important to show the weakness in the overall car market. And that's the fact that luxury cars are slowing down when it comes to sales. Over the course of the pandemic, luxury cars were just like the hottest thing ever. They gained market share and, they increased in price by a massive amount. And it seems like people didn't really care. Like they are willing to pay the prices, they're willing to buy the cars. And that's not what's happening anymore. So at the very top end, like the super expensive luxury cars, like, think you're like cars that are several $100,000, those cars are still selling. But the luxury cars that are $60,000 to, maybe like $120,000 to $140,000, those cars aren't selling anymore. And again, those were the cars that were helping these manufacturers gain so much market share in the US market. And again, if you look at the statistics, you can see that the luxury car market is shrinking, right? The market share is going down as time goes on. And I think that this is really important when it comes to showing weakness in the overall economy, because what this means is that outside of the uber rich individuals, the rich individuals that were still buying things are now no longer buying things. And so you have the demographic that'll typically purchase affordable cars because that's all they can afford. They're basically kind of like kicked out of the market because you've got that middle demographic, right? Your average person that's now buying up all the affordable cars and increasing the prices on those affordable cars. And then the reason why they're doing that is because they can't afford vehicles anymore. And then you have these luxury buyers, which they're no longer buying the luxury cars. And again, they're starting to go down when it comes to market. And so everything's just trending downwards with the new car market. And again, all you have to do is, like, if you don't believe me, just go out to some luxury car dealers, and what you'll find is they actually have inventory. Not only do they have inventory, but they have a lot of inventory. So with all that being said, what does this mean for the market and I guess for the economy as well? Because again, the car market, it follows what's happening in the general economy. If the economy goes down, the car market goes down. If the economy goes up, the car market goes up. And here's the deal. With fewer and fewer cars selling from certain segments, it's obviously showing a big weakness within the overall economy because, again, individuals just simply do not have the money to pay for these items. And on top of that, again, we're starting to see more and more discounts from dealerships and from manufacturers. I mean, I was at a Mercedes dealer today and they're telling me that the manufacturer has like huge rebates on the electric cars. And on top of that, they're discounting the vehicles, dealer discount. And the discounts are huge. I mean, it's like well over $10,000 on a lot of these vehicles and sometimes even more. I mean, we literally went from a market where things were selling for over MSRP to now dealers are posting vehicles for way under MSRP from, the rebates and then also from the dealer discount, and they're still not selling. I mean, that's a complete flip. Again, it shows the weakness in the car market and the weakness in the overall economy. And so moving forward, I think that this is only going to escalate if automakers and dealerships want to, sell cars in higher volume amounts. And it seems like that's starting to become the focus. I mean, if you look at what a lot of these automakers are stating, I mean, Tesla's a great example, right? Tesla's now like, hey, we're going to focus on volume. We're going to worry about profitability later. And it seems like that's starting to infect a lot of the automotive industry because now they're all realizing that, like, hey, the gig's over. We can't just charge whatever we want to charge for cars and people will buy them. Like, people are going to, only buy based off of value in this market. And so, again, my guess is as good as your guess, but with everything that's happening, I see this only continuing to escalate. So again, these cars are going to continue to sit and the discounts are going to continue to get bigger and bigger until it starts to make sense for people. And certain segments, especially with everything that's happening in the economy, are probably not going to make sense. And so it'll be interesting to see what cars end up getting killed off by manufacturers because they just simply are not selling. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen. Let me know what you think about this trend. Like, do you think that the car market really does like mirror the overall economy? Like, if again, like I said earlier, if the economy is doing good, car market's doing good. If the economy is doing bad, then the car market's going to be doing bad because, again, when you look at like the statistics, like you look at 2008, right? The car market crashed at the same time that the overall economy crashed. It seems like they're pretty well correlated. But anyways, I'll see you.